Good morning. Welcome to Martin Show with Martin Xavier. Thank you for joining us this Thursday morning as we get ready to kick things off. We will continue to talk about the quarterback room as we will continue to talk about the quarterback room as well as other things as far as recruiting. We will have Hank South joining us in the third quarter.
All right. Thanks, X, for kicking things off there. We will keep it rolling right here on your home for Alabama Sports Tide 100.9. It is the sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team with Martin and Xavier. Go ahead and get those phones ready. 205 342 9904. 205 342 9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. Live, local, and ready to get things going. And of course, we are on the live stream as well under at Martin Houston 35 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Got a great show lined up for you. Circling back once again, let's we gonna be grading the transfer portal. Did Nick Saban take a little different approach to the transfer portal today, this year versus last year? But will this be better for the Crimson Tide? Alabama has traditionally gone out and you start naming off some of the guys. We've expected those guys to come in and play, but have they produced at the level we wanted them to? If you start looking at some of the prior transfer portals, we thought we were going to get some big playmakers last year in the likes of Harrell and Burton and Gibbs. And did it pan out? Or will we get more out of Amos and Marshall and Buckner? And of course, the only guy that I think that comes in right now that you think will be a starter is possibly Dippre from Maryland, the tight end. But other than that, did Nick Saban take a different approach of building depth and competition on his roster? And once again, recruiting guys that gives him a little age and depth, but that may stay and not go anywhere else now. So we'll see. We can talk about that. Also, something that I've done in the past, and I think it'll be a lot of fun as we get into the spring, is creating an avatar by position. Okay. And what that is you kind of go, okay, what's the qualities, traits, and characteristics of your perfect position? Yeah. Hey, X, I know I don't know if you still do, but I know you used to play the Xbox. I know Simeon does it. I know when I did it, man, I had my avatar running back, and I move up and down the strengths, and it's kind of weird what's changed in the quarterback room. Ironically, the quarterback avatar for me when I it's kind of funny when I was playing 20 years ago is the quarterback of today in a lot of ways.
30 years
Huh?
ago.
I
30
said
years
20.
ago.
I was talking about when I quit playing. Oh, yeah. I mean, I started playing. I mean, you go back more than 30. It just wasn't we couldn't do much as creativity 30 years ago. You kind of had to play with whoever they gave you back in those days. So, but anyway, we can look at the avatar by position. And since we've been having quarterback conversation, I thought that'd be a good position to start at. So if you're out there listening and you want to call in and tell us, hey, this is my avatar. If I had a quarterback, I want him to be this tall and be able to do. I want him to be able to stand in the pocket. I want him to have high IQ. I would want him to be able to read the field, escapability, strong arm, whatever it is. Let us know what your avatar is. You can call it in. You can type it. Give us your top 3, 4, 5 attributes, and we'll kind of build a perfect quarterback for you. So lots of different options out there now compared to back in the day where everybody was 6'4", big arm, could stand pocket passer, that type of scenario. So what's your avatar? And then of course we'll have Hank South, recruiting guru, joining us as well, and to kick off the second half. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. All right. Let's quickly grade the portal, and then we'll start some of this avatar conversation and let that roll into uh the recruiting and all of that. But let's just think about the transfer portal. First of all, despite what Nick Saban said out loud a year or so ago about the type of, I mean, why he goes to the portal, does this year's actual transfers seem to suggest he's going back to the old school and kind of an approach Kirby has had? And even though everybody dogs Dabo for saying it, Dabo has pretty much said we're going to build our program with the players we recruit and not use a portal for building our roster and our team. Um, is that is that the approach Saban has quietly taken without saying it out loud?
Yeah, I mean, I think the approach is a little bit different this year than what it has been. And you can kind of look at that from, I mean, you look at last year. Last year you had Gibbs, Steen, Burton, Harrell. These are all supposed. Was there any more? I know we had those four. I feel like there was another one,
Ricks.
but Ricks, Eli Ricks. And so you have five guys, and it was five guys that everybody expected to come in and start day one, and that was it. I mean, you look the year before that at Toto and JMO, two guys that you expected to see on the field immediately and to be key contributors. And you've gotten that out of the majority of that group, outside of Ricks and Harrell with injuries. But this year feels a little different. I mean, I expect CJ Dupree to be probably the guy at tight end or heavy within the rotation because I feel like Alabama will run more two tight end sets this year. But then you look at Tyler Buckner and now you look at Trey Amos, and these are guys that are going to have to come in and compete, like legitimately compete if they want to get on the field. So I do like that approach a little bit better because I think if you're telling guys immediately this guy's better than you and it is what it is, you're going to lose more than just the one guy that lost a starting spot that year. You're going to lose other guys further down the chain because they'll be like, well, when it is my opportunity, how do I know coach isn't just going to bring in somebody better that he believes is better than me that hasn't put in the work that I
Yeah,
put in?
because the guy who thought he was going to be the second team guy is now the third team guy, and he's out of the
Yeah.
rotation. So you may lose that third guy faster than you lose the second guy. You'd rather have a guy come in and competing for the spot and him fall to second because that second team guy now sees, okay, I still got a chance because if I'm better, I can still win the job. But if you bring in somebody automatically and they're going to be the starter, it makes it a different road. I guess Aiden and then X, you can respond to it as well. But is it is this more of uh like, and I'm always, let me see if I can find a silver lining in this. Does this mean that Nick Saban didn't feel like he had as many gaps on this team? Because if you look at last year in the year before, was he filling needs almost like an NFL draft person would draft in the likes of JMO and Harrell and Toa Toa. And this year he didn't feel like the only place he felt like he had a true need was at tight end.
Yeah, I'd say that's the case. I'd say that this is indicative of maybe something we've talked about on this show really being true, really cemented as being true, and that was how much the restrictions based around the pandemic screwed up recruiting for a couple of years. Not being able to visit kids in their homes, be in the living room with grandma and auntie and eating the gumbo. Really get a sense for who these people were. And I think the further removed we get from that, really starting with this 2023 class, especially, you're going to see fewer and fewer misses and holes that need to be filled.
Yeah. So X, I'll let you respond to that because I'm kind of thinking which has he changed philosophy or is it what Aiden said?
Circumstances
Do what
change.
now?
Or have circumstances
Yeah.
changed?
Your thoughts on is it more about that than the need and how do you feel about this group of players?
Man, Aiden, I think you made a really good point with that. We have talked about the pandemic and how that affected recruiting for a couple years, and maybe this is the year that the ship has been righted. But I don't know. I don't think there were as many holes when you really step back and look at this team between what we had coming back and what we had coming in with the 2023 recruiting class. I don't think there was as many holes there. So I do believe that Coach Saban said, okay, hey, we need a tight end because we've got a bunch of young guys that don't have a ton of experience. Then you turn around and look, and he wants a little bit more competition in the quarterback room because regardless, bunch of young guys. You've got one start. Minus Tyler Buckner, you have one start between four guys. Need a little bit of experience for competition.
And you only have like what 4 or 5 if you take all 5 quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and even now it's 4 between 5 guys. So that's going to be interesting. And then you look at with the secondary, you have guys that at the end of spring ball have transferred out. And so you want to fill those holes, but they don't necessarily have to come in and be day one guys. Trey Amos has 2 years of eligibility left, which means if he's not a starter this year, you're going to be replacing Kool-Aid next year. Terry and Arnold might have a breakout season. You might be having to replace him on top of you replacing, Malachi after that. So
and who says that
you're starting to see depth pieces being built.
And check what's Amos's his avatar statistics. He's a fairly big corner, right? I know he's a physical corner.
Yeah,
I don't know his exact.
He's 6 foot 190 or 6'1", 190. He's a big kid.
And he's known as a physical corner. So don't be surprised if Little doesn't, kick out to a corner maybe, and you have Amos as Malachi's backup, or they had times where they had 6 DBs on the field in spring practice. I don't know if we saw that in the A-Day, Aiden, but one they had. I'm talking about like played extensive when I was at the scrimmage, extensive reps, not just short yardage. It was an interesting setup. So I just said that we didn't see a lot of 6 DBs, but we saw a lot of that. So but I want us on the other side. We'll get the grade for this class because last year we had those 5 guys, but I want us to grade them. Did they live up to expectation? And do you feel like this group, even though they may not be the projected starters per se, does this group do you end up having a good positive feeling about this group of transfers and their ultimate contribution to the Crimson Tide program? Because all but Dupree had multiple years left. So we'll talk about that.
Dupree has multiple years.
Do what now? No,
Dupree has 2 years
as well. That's right. Because see, you have to. I forget about this. Everybody has COVID year.
No. But he only just finished his sophomore season. He's only going to be.
I thought he was a red shirt. I mean, I thought he was a sophomore, but oh wow, he's a true sophomore.
I think he's going to be a true junior.
Well, coming off of a true sophomore. Well, that even adds even more reason to think about maybe this approach may be better for the Crimson Tide. We'll tell you why. We'll also start the conversation on the avatar for the Crimson Tide quarterback, or it can be any quarterback, but hey, what's your avatar for the quarterback position? We'll get some recruiting and we'll get it all in. And we need you to help us make it happen. 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. It is open for business. You can also chat us up with your thoughts, your comments, and your opinions.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Everything looking pretty good on the roadways on this Thursday morning. Now, if you do see conditions, of course, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Others are raising their rates. Townsend Nissan is lowering theirs on selected models. 0% up to 60 months at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Legendary comedian Jeff Foxworthy, The Good Old Days Tour.
But they have a rule in my neighborhood. If you walk your dog and your dog does his business in somebody else's yard, you need to get a little plastic bag, pick it up, and dispose of it. So you drive through my neighborhood and there's all these attractive women walking around with poo-poo purses.
Saturday, June 3rd, Pearl River Resort Silver Star Convention Center. Tickets on sale now at pearlriverresort.com.
Hey, did you know nacho fries are back at Taco Bell? But they're not going to hang around forever. So don't wait, or you might miss out on these hot, crisp fries covered in all those bold Mexican spices with delicious nacho cheese sauce. Or wait and just settle for flavorless fries. Regular, bland, spiceless, flavorless, flimsy, non-nacho fries. Just an absolute bummer of a fry.
Nacho fries are back. Get them today, only at Taco Bell. At participating U.S. Taco Bell locations for a limited time only while supplies last. Contact a local store for hours and participation which vary.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, trunk lids, license plate holders, and headlights. They've got lots of headlights. When you need parts, get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. eBay Motors. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
From our home base in Birmingham, Alabama, we are here treating patients from every generation across the United States and from around the world. We're here for the rookies and the dreamers trying to make a name for themselves. We are here for the achievers
who are resilient
and won't take no for an answer. We're here for the coaches,
athletic trainers, and mentors who are shaping the next generation of legends.
We are here for you,
aggressively pursuing
victory over injury.
Learn more at andrewsportsmedicine.com.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Warm and humid today, a mix of sun and clouds with scattered showers and thunderstorms through tonight. The high today 84, tonight's low 65. Tomorrow cloudy at times with scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms. Tomorrow's high at 84. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 68 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back in to the Martin Houston Show. Martin and Xavier, it's a beautiful morning, and we're glad to have you with us as we move throughout the day. Hopefully, you're enjoying the show. I want to invite you to get in on the conversation, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline. X, as we were going to break there, We were talking about, excuse me, getting in on the grading of the portal really quick, and we can circle back on this as we see things and maybe even see how our grades look now versus what to look in the fall as we see these guys play. But last year you had the opportunity to have some guys you thought were going to start, and they didn't. They ended up not starting, or didn't play at the level you expected. So first of all, how would you grade last year's class?
When you look at the overall 5 guys that transferred in, Tyler Harrell doesn't see the field at all. Eli Ricks barely plays due to injury. Jermaine Burton doesn't necessarily. Well, you know what? I think we set too high of expectations for Jermaine Burton. Jermaine Burton had a decent season, but based off of what we expected because of what JMO did before, we set the bar really high. And then you look at Gibbs and Steen, who were key contributors and played at a very high level throughout the course of the season. So I guess overall, you probably have to give him a C plus because I mean, Harold not playing at all is an F. Ricks is a D just because of the lack of playing time. Then Burton realistically was probably a C plus, B minus. And then, of course, I would give Gibbs and Steen A's, A pluses.
Yeah, and I would for what they did, I might give them a higher grade. I mean, yeah, for what they actually did, like when you name out those guys, I would give them probably a B, B minus. But for what I expected versus what was delivered, even Jameer Gibbs, and that's not on Jameer, that's on coaching, I believe, with him. On Ricks, I look at what he did when he did play, and I give him an A. When we use Gibbs the way we said we would use Gibbs, I would give him an A plus. Both of them probably. But for what they actually, the expectation of what you expected and what they delivered has to be a huge gap. You know what I mean? Like I would say this group, last year's group underachieved. I would say this group coming in, we probably don't have a really high expectation of them. And so by the time they leave Alabama, I think all of them will contribute at some point in some capacity and in some way. So I may right now give them. I would have started last year's group off with like an A. You know what y'all expect, A plus, and I would say they delivered at a C. I would say right now I have this group at probably a B minus, maybe a C plus, because they're average. There's nothing about them that says, "Woo!" Right home to mom and tell them the national championship is coming. But I think when we look back, this team will contribute more. This group will contribute more to the team in the program overall. Your thoughts, and I'll let Aiton give his thoughts really quick.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. And we don't look at this group of guys so far. I mean, you could have Jalen Key potentially be a part of this transfer class. And of course, he'll be a one and done, but that's because he only has 1 year of eligibility left. But when you look at Dupree, when you look at Buckner, when you look at Amos, you're expecting them to probably be here for the remainder of their eligibility. I mean, guys could have a breakout season and leave, of course, but you expect them to be multi-year contributors to the team. So I think that gives them the ability to build on their grade. When you have a bunch of one and done guys, as you know, last year four of the 5 are no longer on the team. It's a finite amount of opportunities they have to make an impact. And not saying that the guys didn't make an impact while they were here, with the exception of Harold, but it's one shot and you're done with those type of guys.
Yeah, just think how good this team would be if Gibbs it came back, Ricks it came back, and even Harold had gave it another shot here. You probably be feeling a little different about that particular team. Aiden, what are your thoughts as far as grade in this group of transfers?
First and foremost, Eli Ricks will forever be my biggest what if in modern Alabama history. He could have been incredible had we utilized him a little better and had he stuck around another year. But with these 4 guys coming in, man, I think y'all are right on the money. Expectations should be like a C+, a B. There's, these guys could be great. They really could be. But there's nothing that jumps off the page about them for me. But like X was saying, the beautiful part of this is these aren't one and done guys. These aren't, they don't have to be, oh, you're better than the guys we have and you're going to make an immediate impact on the field, because they can develop for a year. It almost like bringing in a recruit more than it's like bringing in a JUCO guy more than bringing in, a transfer portal one and done kind of player.
And I think you're going to see coaches begin to do that potentially more than you see them all going after the one and done. Because what's happened, and this is what I think Saban realizes. Next year, there may be guys leave, right? But he probably feels really good about 5 guys on his roster that already used up their get out of jail free card that will stay here and fight for a position. I mean, I think he gets competition, he gets development, and he gets a guy who's used the get out of jail free card, and he gets experience. And it gives this class that we just recruited, they're not going to be like the guys before that signed on a dotted line. Think about this. If you were that receiving class from last year that signed, then what did Saban do after you signed? He went out and got that were supposed to be JMOs. And then they saw that they weren't, but they still didn't get to play. They still didn't get to. Alabama kept trying to make. I think Alabama got caught up in trying to make Burton what they said he was versus just letting him be the receiver he could be. I think he's a possession type of guy. He's not a take the top off. He's not a number one guy to me. He's a role player, and we kept trying to make him the number one guy. So I think that was huge. Of course, guys, we didn't get to the quarterback avatar, and that's the beauty of live radio. You can just kick it back to tomorrow, and I intentionally did not get into that conversation because I want to give it enough time. And so we'll talk about that quarterback avatar. Give you a little time to think about what's your avatar. Do you have an avatar? And what I mean by that is, what are the traits, characteristics, and qualities of the quarterback? You're getting to build your quarterback, and we're going to do it by positions. We'll just make this one of our ongoing themes throughout the summer as we head into the fall. And let's see, what's your avatar? And then we'll break down the actual position or the players that Alabama have and say, okay, based on that, how would you grade and rank the quarterbacks that you have? So that'll be part of the process. If you say that you want a dual threat guy with a big arm that can take a hit, well, we'll see which guy on Alabama roster you think fits that best. We'll keep it going right here on the Martin Houston Show and come back on the other side. We'll have Hank South, 247 Sports, Bama Online recruiting guru, joining us next.
This is a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update.
I'm Kim Rankin with your Tide Sports Update. Marlon Humphrey will host his first 5K called the Marquis Mile on June 10th in Calera, Alabama. Alabama currently ranks number 1 for most players currently on NFL rosters. 4-star class of 2024 cornerback and current Tennessee commit Marcus Gorey Jr. has received an offer from Alabama.
This has been a Town Square Media Tide 100.9 Sports Update. Run it again! For more info on these stories and more, download the Tide 100.9 app.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Everything looking pretty good on the roadways on this Thursday morning. Now, if you do see conditions, of course, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Others are raising their rates. Townsend Nissan is lowering theirs on selected models. 0% up to 60 months at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Hi, I'm Marty Lyons. When I come to Taco Casa, I always order the 2 and 2. 2 Sanchos, 2 enchiladas.
And I'm Wilkin Forby. And when I come to Taco Casa, I always order the Fantastic Four. 4 Sanchos, 4 enchiladas, 4 tacos, and 4 burritos.
Taco Casa is always made with the finest ingredients and made fresh when you order. So whatever the size of your appetite,
There's always something delicious waiting for you here at Taco Casa.
Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
You're guaranteed to make your mom smile this Mother's Day with one call to Stephanie's Flowers. Hey, they have roses, all kinds of floral arrangements, fresh cut flowers, stuffed animals, and balloons. Hey, they make it easy. Tell them what you're looking for and they will deliver it for you. You can also pick it up at Stephanie's Flowers at 514 Hargrove Road East in Tuscaloosa. Hey, make her smile on Mother's Day with one call to Stephanie's Flowers, 345-3704.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means, wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match, only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Leaving for the gym so early?
I'm ready to go.
Since you started taking Nugenix Total T, you've been acting like when we met in our 20s.
I feel like myself again. Lower testosterone after turning 40 slowed me down. Nugenix Total T has been a game changer for me.
What is it about Nugenix Total T that's different?
Well, it's a patented key ingredient called testofen. It boosts free and total testosterone to help you get back the drive and energy from your youth. It's backed by 5 clinical studies.
I've seen the huge difference it's made for you in the gym, at work, and in the bedroom.
I'm so glad I sent them a text for my complimentary bottle. Text ROCK to 321321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Nugenix is the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and we'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever. Absolutely free. Text ROCK to 321321. That's ROCK to 321321.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. As we kick off the second half, we have recruiting group Hank South of 247 Sports and Bama Online Recruiting joining us to break down some news from the recruiting world for Alabama. Good morning, Hank. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Xavier. I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. So we're going to start off talking about the transfer portal. Alabama lands cornerback Trey Amos from Louisiana Lafayette. What is he bringing to the table for Alabama?
Yeah, just depth at cornerback. Another guy that can come in there. Obviously, you lost Eli Ricks this past draft. Kool-Aid's obviously an established guy at the position, but competition opposite Kool-Aid is certainly a plus. And he brings that veteran aspect. And another plus with Trey Amos is he has 2 years of eligibility remaining. So, a lot of these guys that are transferring, potentially looking to be one and done, go to the NFL and go that route. But, if it ends up, being a situation where, he could take maybe a Henry To'oTo'o route or Landon Dickerson and play a couple of years, then maybe he does that. So, I think it's a big time addition. He's 6'1", 197. He's had I think 37 games experience at the college level. Obviously Louisiana has been a a very successful program and played some high level competition. So I think it's a big addition with Trey Amos committing on what was it? Let's say Tuesday.
Awesome. And of course, Jalen Key, the safety from UAB, has set a commitment date. Do you think he ends up with the Crimson Tide, or is he going to be a part of, is it Florida or Ole Miss?
Florida State. Yeah.
Florida State.
I would probably lean Alabama. The only thing that gives me a little bit of pause there is he's from Tallahassee originally. So, Florida State's obviously pushing for him. They had him on an official visit as well. That hometown appeal, that can be certainly a big factor, especially, for someone that's transferring for their, final season of collegiate eligibility. That opportunity to go home, obviously, nobody will blame somebody on passing that up if they decided to go that route. Florida State's recruiting him really hard. But obviously Alabama is too. I know Ole Miss is in the mix, but I really think it's going to come down to Bama or Florida State. I would lean Bama. He has 1 year of eligibility left. He visited Bama twice. So, he entered the portal a couple weeks ago, visited Bama, I think, the next day on an unofficial visit. Well, he definitely visited, but, I don't know how, I forgot which day he actually entered the portal, but very, very soon after entering the portal was at Bama, took an official visit to Ole Miss and Florida State, and then returned to Alabama on Monday for an official visit. And interesting thing with that was he canceled his Ohio State and Oregon official visits that were he's supposed to be at Ohio State right now. He canceled that, and he was going to go to Oregon this upcoming weekend. He canceled that. So obviously, and he set his commitment date for this weekend. So I would, if I had to pick, I'd pick Bama. But I'm not sleeping on Florida State just yet, in terms of, where he ends up this weekend.
So with him, as you said, he has 1 year of eligibility left. Is he a plug and play type of guy that Alabama's going after with the youth and the inexperience at safety, especially because it looks like Malachi is going to be back at the star position, or is he just a depth piece even with 1 year of eligibility left?
Yeah, I think maybe that's something else that's going to factor into his decision. You lose 2 year starting safeties with Helms and Battle, so obviously, you want to have the depth, the veteran aspect there, just like Amos, that you can't argue with an addition like that. But you do have guys like Malachi Moore. You have a lot of talent there. You find Caleb Downs. You've got Christian Story, who's been in the program for a while. So you look at that and think, where would he play, or would he just, But I think he likes the competition aspect of it. I think he likes the fact that he would have to, earn his spot. But again, 1 year left. You want to make your NFL statement. Do you want to go somewhere that you're going to see the field? You're going to see the field. So we'll see what how that factors into his final decision. But yeah, and with Key, he's kind of a guy that he's a 6th-year senior. He didn't he didn't break out until this past season. This was his first really strong season at the collegiate level. So he certainly has years of experience, but he hasn't had that breakout year since until 2022. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what he ends up deciding to do.
Hey, let me say this, interject real quick, X. That's interesting. We all describe his year at UAB as a breakout year, and we see guys get drafted from D1s all the time. Is this not a guy that, had he stayed at UAB and duplicated last year, would this guy be, invited to combine? And if you get invited to combine, it's on. And so it kind of make you wonder, is his move more about, I want to play against the best at this level before I go to the next level? Because I think he could stay where he's at and still get to the NFL.
That's a good point. And yeah, obviously having the, if you did end up at Alabama, having the rec letter from Nick Saban would certainly help his case. The fact that he had that strong year, and then he opted himself to go to a place where he was going to have to earn his spot, for his final season. That could also look really good. So yeah, no, that's a good point. I didn't really think about. So
X.
So a different shift from the transfer portal. So you had Traquan Fagans leave Alabama. He commits to USC. And then his younger brother commits almost immediately as well to USC. Interesting thing about that with Anquan is Traquan can blow up over the next 10 years and be in the NFL draft as Anquan's finishing his senior season. So is Alabama going to continue to push for Anquan potentially with the hopes that Traquan blows up and leaves and the door is open for him to still come to Alabama? Or is he going to probably slide down the priority list a little bit?
No, I think Bama's still going to recruit him hard. They've known him for, obviously, they've been recruiting Traquan for forever, or had been. So they've known Anquan for a long time. So I don't foresee, them stopping going after him. And, I think Anquan Fagans is still going to take his official visits. Again, he's 2025. So he's going into his junior year of high school. His recruitment's kind of just starting almost. So I was, it was funny because he committed to USC right after Traquan announced, and he's been spending the last, year or two saying, I'm not like knocking him at all or anything. He was saying, his brother wasn't a factor in his decision. He was going to make his own decision. But of course, it's your brother. So yeah, that's going to factor into your decision. So, and obviously it did there. But like you said, Traquan could have two really good years in Los Angeles and go to the draft, and then you're not playing with your brother anymore. So I think Bama and I think Georgia, I think all these other schools are still going to come after him. Again, we talk about hanging on to kids that are committed from California or far off. That's a long way from home. So if Traquan does end up going to the NFL, and is that going to be a solid commitment coming from Alabama all the way out to California? So I think it'd be foolish to stop recruiting him, and I don't think Bama will.
Okay. So as we're transitioning into the summer, I know there's been some guys that have announced when they're going to be coming to Alabama for visits. Can you talk about some of those guys?
Yeah, so it's going to be a loaded summer. We've seen Bama really hop on, this summer official visit window the last few years, really knocking out most of their official visits in the month of June. There's 4 June weekends that they'll have visitors, and obviously, camp season as well. So they sprinkle in official visits in camp, so it makes it for one of the busiest months of the year. But big names that are already set. One guy that's down at 2 schools, Texas and Alabama, he actually just tweeted. This visit's been set for a while, but he tweeted last night to reaffirm it. Aaron Hampton, the 4-star wide receiver from Texas, who's actually committed to Texas at one point, decommitted, and now he has a top 2 of Bama and Texas. So he's going to do back-to-back official visits at Texas mid-June, and then Bama the last weekend or the 23rd to 25th of June. And I would imagine he's going to make a decision after that, just because, you take your 2 official visits to your top 2, probably ready to make a decision after that. So that's a big one we're watching. A few other really notable ones. Jordan Seaton, the 4-star kind of do-it-all offensive lineman. Some people are recruiting him as interior. Some people are recruiting him as a tackle. Obviously, he's got the size to be interior. He's got the size and athleticism to, kick out. He's going to officially visit that June 9th through 11th weekend. And each weekend is going to have a bunch of guys. So, along with Seaton that weekend, Daniel Calhoun, a top 100 offensive tackle from Georgia, he's planning to use the official visit in that window. And he's actually a really interesting one. He's been to Bama a couple times. We caught up with him in February at the Under Armour camp, and I was just talking to him about recruiting, about everything. And, he just mentioned his dad went to Alabama. I always like to ask kids, do you have any connection to Alabama? Like, family, friends, or anybody that went there, played there, or anything like that? Sometimes, you get something interesting, and then, his dad didn't play at Alabama, but he went there. So I thought that was interesting with Daniel Calhoun. Beyond that, for other weekends, June 16th through 18th, you got Jeremiah Beeman, who's obviously we've talked about here. He's a big defensive line target from Birmingham. He's going to be on campus. Marcus Easley the following weekend, a big offensive line target from Illinois. Sorry, he's going to be on campus. And then that last weekend in June, Peyton Woodyard, the Georgia commit, that is the top 100 safety out from California. He's committed to Georgia. He's going to be using an official visit as well. So Bama's still keeping the heat turned up on him. So there's a lot more. Obviously, we got to cover the BOL, but definitely going to be a busy month in June.
Yeah, can you talk a little bit more about Peyton Woodward? I saw that there was an article out about him and why he's still interested in Alabama, as well as Alabama recently offering Marcus Gore Jr., Tennessee commit that is a defensive back as well.
Yeah, so I talked to Peyton Woodyard the other day about because he's had the official visit to Bama. He actually visited Alabama in April as well, on an unofficial. So the interest is absolutely there. And, obviously, he's committed to Georgia. So kind of the first question you ask is, why are you still talking to Alabama? What if you have your decision made, what's the deal there? And, he said Bama was his childhood favorite school. And, the fact that Bama is still showing so much interest in him and talking to him, telling him they want him, has him interested in Alabama. So that was kind of his reasoning there. Obviously any defensive back wants to hear what Nick Saban has to say, regardless of where you're committed. I think that's kind of a big, that's a big moment for any defensive back, considering, what he's been able to turn out at Alabama. So Peyton Woodyard's noticed that as well. He actually spent a lot of time with Caleb Downs too when he was on campus in April. Excuse me. So he got a talk from him. Obviously, another high-level recruit that went through the process. Obviously, was recruited heavily by Georgia and Ohio State as well. So certainly someone that could relate to kind of what Peyton Woodyard is going through. So, he says he's fully committed to Georgia, and I believe him. But the fact, he's still taking visits. So, I would say this about Bama commits too. If you're still taking visits, the door's still open. It shows you're still interested. So, have to watch that. We'll see what happens with Woodyard. And then you asked about Marcus Gore Jr., the Tennessee commit. I'm not sure what that means just yet for him, in terms of how we haven't caught up with him yet on that offer. So we'll see what he's saying. I would imagine the fact that he's tweeting it out. I think Bama stopped by his school a couple of days ago to see him. So I would imagine he's going to at least work out next month at camp. But definitely shows Bama is still looking for safeties in this 2024 class.
All right, Hank. Hey, we appreciate you coming in every Thursday, breaking down a little bit of the crazy world of recruiting for Alabama. Can you let everybody know where they can find you?
Yeah, thanks for having me. BamaOnline.com, and then my Twitter handle is @HankSouth247.
All right, @HankSouth247. Yes, Hank South 247, Bama Online recruiting guru. We thank Hank for being in on the show. We're going to go ahead and get the break here and have the 2-minute warning coming back on the other side. Alabama's got a full slate for the summer, and it sounds like going to have another high-level recruiting class. The question is, will they develop them? We hope so. We'll see if this coaching staff does a little better job of developing talent than last year's or the previous administration. Come back on the other side. We'll have the 2-minute warning right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Everything looking pretty good on the roadways on this Thursday morning. Now, if you do see conditions, of course, give me a call, 205-886-8886. Others are raising their rates. Townsend Nissan is lowering theirs on selected models. 0% up to 60 months at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Thursday morning. President Biden and House Speaker McCarthy are divided over the federal debt ceiling, but talks are continuing. Alabama senior U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville is claiming when Biden talks about reaching a compromise, he's talking about the Republicans doing all the compromising, while the Democrats want to spend even more money. If a compromise cannot be reached, the negative economic impact would quickly mount and risk triggering a deep and lengthy recession. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news. I'm Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Celebrate the person who made you who you are. Lavish her with beautiful Mother's Day flowers from Sue's Flowers. Your mother raised you and loved you unconditionally. Sunday, May 14th, show her how much you appreciate her loving kindness with the finest Mother's Day flowers. Sue's Flowers offer gorgeous, fresh flowers in traditional and pastel arrangements. Or think outside the box with stargazer lilies and daisies in a basket. No other florist can match their combination of style, quality, and service. Call Sue's Flowers, 758-2100.
You've probably seen their clothing around town on game days, but check out Christopher Mobley on the Strip. It's luxury game day apparel redefined. It's the only place in town where you can find Todd Hoops apparel. Clothing designed for the modern day entrepreneur, golf enthusiast, and athleisure fanatic. They've got Peter Millar, Fiore, Grayson, and Mizzen & Main. And if you haven't tried the Mizzen & Main dress shirts, you've got to. You can find them at 1410 University Boulevard on the Strip. Also, they've got a great e-commerce site at ChristopherMobley.shop. So check out Christopher Mobley, luxury game day apparel redefined.
Finding great people to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Their powerful matching technology delivers so many qualified candidates. It's like finding a needle in a needle stack. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. For less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Remember, Alabama One, alabama1.org, your source for all your financial needs. If you're in the market for commercial farm ag equipment, or maybe a wreck vehicle, including motorcycles, boats, ATVs, UTVs, etc., you can get a great loan, great terms, great rates, and you can win a big green egg. So go ahead and apply at alabama1.org. Closing thoughts on the show, and then I'll set up tomorrow.
I think it's an interesting conversation around the transfers and what they'll be able to contribute. But I am excited to see what they bring to the table for not only the 2023 Alabama team, but moving forward into 2024 and with Buckner all the way up to potentially 2025.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what their ultimate contribution is. Last year's group, we probably gave an A plus coming in, probably give them a B- to C+ heading out. With this group, it's probably the reverse. We lowered the expectations, but they have a huge ceiling, including the quarterback, Buckner and company. all guys having multiple years. The question is, will the young man from UAB join the crew? And that gives you greater expectations, but it also only gives you 1 year of eligibility. On tomorrow and beyond, we'll start talking about building the perfect avatar by position. Give you a little time to think about it so you can call us and tell us and post on it tomorrow from the quarterback position. What's your avatar? Is it dual threat, pocket, arm, escapability, IQ, leadership, decision-making, footwork, physical size? Hey, maybe something else. You can talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier on Tide 100.9. And don't forget about the live stream. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide out to everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
And have a good time. Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app. Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active